Hello everyone, and welcome to learning how to make a UFO in AutoDesk Maya. So what we're going to start off with is we're going to open up a new project in AutoDesk Maya. So it'll be located on your desktop, simple thing, and then we're going to open it up and this is going to pop up. So normally it's going to be in this view, but in order to move around on AutoDesk Maya, you hold down the Alt key and then left click to rotate it around, right click to move forward, and then the middle mouse click to move it up and down, left and right. So what we're going to start off with is we're going to choose how to make the body portion of the UFO. So normally everyone will go up to create, polygon primitives, sphere. But also for me, I have interactive creation on so that when I click on sphere, look how it says drag on the grid. What I'm simply going to do is I'm going to drag right here on this grid and choose how big or small I want to make the body so it's easy for me. So I'm going to say right around here's a good size. Now we have a sphere in the simple window here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit R on the keyboard or click this little button here, which is the scale tool. Now each of these represents different axes in Maya. The blue one represents the z-axis, which is also represented over here. The green one is the y-axis, and then the one closest over here, the red, is the x. So what I'm going to simply do is I'm going to take the y-axis, I'm going to click this little cube, and I'm just going to drag it in so it looks kind of like a normal UFO body. So I would say that's about a very decently sized UFO body. Now, I like how it looks. I may just scale it bigger in size just so that I have a little bit more room to work, which is a simple thing to do. And now that I got it to the way that I like, I'm going to move this off to the side for a little bit. Now, I'm going to hold down the spacebar, and this menu comes up. I'm going to click and hold Create, go over to Polygon Primitives, and I'm just going to create another sphere. Very simple, nothing too fancy. So, we're going to make it, I would say this is about a decent size here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the spacebar once. Just click it, and you're going to get these 4 separate windows. These are the different perspective views. So basically, with these, they represent each axis that people will see. The top, the front, and the side. We're mainly going to work for this in the top and the side here. So I'm going to click the space bar where my mouse is, and it's going to bring me to the side. Now I'm going to hit F on the keyboard, which is going to bring me over to the sphere so that's centered in my screen. I'm just going to zoom out for a little bit, and I'm going to move this right over to here, right inside the body of our UFO. Now, we have our nice little UFO so far, but we're going to raise it up so it looks like there's actually a dome of glass for the model of it. I'm going to go into the top view here, and I'm just going to make sure before I do anything else that this is perfectly aligned. Okay, we got a nice and good looking. So now I'm going to just drag this up on the y-axis to bring it up a little bit so that you can see how many faces you want. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a thing of going back to the side view here. I'm going to click this, make sure it's green. I'm going to hold the right click, and I'm going to click the faces button here. You see how there's a line that drags over to where you want it to be. I'm going to let go, and it's going to come up and turn light blue, which means I'm now in the faces mode. So now what I'm going to do is, real quick, I'm just going to for myself find where all these faces meet before they go into the geometry here. Okay, so by the looks of it, they all, anything down from this line on is going to get deleted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the left mouse click and I'm just going to drag a little box over here. Now all these faces are lit up. So that means that those are the ones that are being selected. As you can see, the ones that are on top of the UFO have not been selected. They did not turn this beige color. So I'm just going to simply hit the backspace button. And as you can see in the side, and just for the sake of it, I will turn on the wireframe here. As you can see, there's no more faces inside the body of the UFO. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out of our faces mode and go back into object mode. So we're going to hold the right click, and instead of the faces here, we're going to go to object mode. And it's going to turn it back to this nice simple green. Now, what we're going to do also, before we do any of the putting the coloring on this, we're going to make it so it has a little entrance sound at the bottom of the UFO. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my perspective view here so that I can drag around and be able to see everything in a whole 360 degrees. So as you can see, we have the body selected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the top here. I'm going to Alt, left mouse click, drag myself all the way down so I'm seeing the bottom of the ship. Now I'm going to go and do faces. So now instead of just doing left mouse clicking and dragging, because what happens is, say if I were to left mouse click and drag, okay, sure, you got these pieces that you wanted. But if I go and if I move myself back up here, these also got selected. I didn't want these to be selected, and this piece didn't even get selected in the process. So it's always good for if you're looking for certain areas, because what I do is I click once on here. I'm going to hit Q on the keyboard to get rid of the arrows and whatnot. And I'm just going to hold down the shift key on your left, and I'm just going to click all the faces that I want. And the ones that I want will turn into this nice beige color, which means we have them selected. It's a very easy thing to do, just to click. Plus, for some, they might like this preference. So now we have these faces selected, which is a very easy thing. Now we're going to go and I'm going to hold down the space bar, and I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, which is right here, and I'm going to click the Extrude button, or if you like keyboard quips, Control E. Now these set of arrows and whatnot came up, but as well as the circle and these three boxes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, on the blue one here, just drag this up a little bit so that we can start getting the center of the opening of the ship. So now what we're also going to do is we're going to hit G on the keyboard, which basically allows you to redo the same action that you just did. So I'm going to hit G. Now it's allowed me to do what I need to again. Now I'm going to try and shrink this in a little bit. So I'm going to click this, just any of the cubes once, and then this light blue box is going to pop up for when we scaled in the sphere. So now I'm going to just drag this in a little bit so that we can start making it look like an actual UFO. I'm going to hit G for one more time just to make sure that we can get it a little bit pushed in more so that when we're done with it, it looks like it's a little bit more detailed than just a sphere with a cylinder, just a sphere on top of another sphere. Now, since I like how this came out, I'm going to right click, hold right click, go back to object mode, so that it's in this green coloring again. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm just going to be able to set it up here. Now, normally within a UFO, the dome part here is usually made of glass. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to go, well, for me, since I already did this one, but I'm just going to show you how to do it from scratch. We're going to go and click Assign New Material. We're going to click the Arnold tab here, right here, and we're going to choose AI Standard Surface. This one will allow us to get a very nice, simple, but nice glass look. So I'm going to click AI Standard Surface. Now it's going to pop up like this, and normally this menu will pop up. If not, I want you to hit Control A. Oops. Yes. And if it pops up like this, I want you to right click on the sphere here, and I'm going to hit Material Attributes. And it's going to bring this menu up for you, so you have it. So now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going into the transmission section here. So click the little arrow here. We're going to drag the menu down a little bit, and we're just going to increase the transmission here. So that means, as you can see, as I'm dragging to the right here, the dome on our left is becoming transparent. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make that about 0.610. Otherwise, if I were to make it 1, you can't see it anymore. But it's still be able to be selected. So I'm just going to go back over to here. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I may make it like, if we want, we can make it a shade of red. So it's like a red glass. Now for the body, I'm going to do almost the same thing. I'm going to hold down right click. I'm going to do Assign New Material. Arnold. AI Standard Surface. And then we're just going to simply change in the base tab here, just the color. We're not going to do anything with the transmission section down here because we're not making this transparent. We're just going to make it a simple color. So you can make it any color you want. For me personally, I tend to like a nice and simple dark blue. So, or like a navy blue, something of that sort. So something along that line could be used to make the body of the ship look like it has a coloring on it. And as you can see, we have created a simple 2-polygon UFO. Now, I would like to thank you for learning how to make a simple UFO here, and I hope you enjoy using this in a further project or something that you might make in your pastime. Take care and have a great day.